Hey everyone, ready to become a pneumatic systems technician? We're using RoleCatcher's guides to help you crush that interview.
We'll break it all down.
It's more than just having the right answers. We'll help you understand why those answers work. That's how you build real confidence.
Exactly.
You might be surprised to hear this isn't your grandpa's factory gig. This field is booming. We'll show you the numbers to prove it.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, we'll look at how RoleCatcher's AI can give you an edge. It helps you tailor your answers and get feedback. Most people won't have that.
That's right. A huge advantage.
Before we jump into interview questions, let's get a clear picture of what a pneumatic systems technician actually does.
Right.
What does a pneumatic systems technician do? Give us the rundown.
Okay, so basically, you're the expert on systems that use gas or compressed air to power equipment.
Okay,
You're the one who puts those systems together, installs them, makes sure they're running right.
got it.
You use blueprints and technical stuff, too. And when things go wrong,
You're the one they call.
you got it. Troubleshooting and repairs, that's where you shine. You keep those systems humming.
So it's not just about being handy with tools. There's some real brain power involved here.
Oh, absolutely. You need to be able to read those technical drawings. You got to understand the engineering behind it all.
Yeah.
It's about using that knowledge to solve problems in the real world.
And speaking of the real world, where would I actually be working as a pneumatic systems technician?
Well, there are all sorts of places. You could be on a construction site, maybe a factory floor, or even, get this, on a ship.
Whoa, on a ship. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of variety.
Definitely keeps things interesting. But what about the job outlook? What's the future looking like for this field?
Well, the Bureau of Labor Statistics says this field is projected to grow 10% over the next 10 years.
Wow, 10%. That's faster than a lot of other jobs, right?
Yeah, that's faster than average for all occupations. More jobs, more opportunities to move up.
So you're not just learning a trade. You're investing in a solid future. Okay, let's get down to business here. What are some of those interview questions they're going to throw at me?
We've got 7 common ones we'll go through. And remember, RoleCatcher's AI. That can help you tailor your answers for each specific job.
So it's like having a custom cheat sheet for every interview. That's amazing. All right, hit me with the first question.
Here we go. Describe your experience installing and maintaining pneumatic systems. Sounds simple, right?
Yeah, pretty straightforward.
But there's more to it than just listing your past jobs.
So what's the interviewer really digging for here?
They want to see if you've actually got hands-on experience. Can you walk them through the process?
Okay.
They'll be listening for details. What kinds of systems have you worked with? What tools did you use? Any special training you have?
So don't just say, yeah, I've done that before. I need to paint a picture for them.
Exactly. Think about specific projects you've worked on. Maybe you helped install a new conveyor belt system at a factory or fixed a leaky air compressor.
Oh, I see.
Walk them through the steps. What were the challenges? How'd you overcome them?
Right, like a little story.
And tailor your examples to the job you're applying for. If they need someone with experience in manufacturing, highlight those projects.
Makes sense. You're connecting the dots for them, showing them how your experience matches their needs.
Yeah.
What's a big no-no when answering this question?
Don't make things up.
Okay.
Be honest about what you've done. Interviewers can usually spot a phony, especially when it comes to technical skills.
So honesty is key.
Yeah.
Got it. What about follow-up questions? What might they ask after I give my initial answer?
They might dig a bit deeper into a project you mentioned. They could ask about specific components you worked with to test your knowledge.
Like what?
Like valves, actuators, things like that. Or they might ask you to describe a tough problem you solved.
Okay, so I need to be ready to go beyond the basics. They want to see how I think on my feet.
Precisely. And that's where RoleCatcher can really help. Its AI can analyze your answers, suggest ways to make them more specific, even point out industry jargon that would impress them.
Like having a secret weapon, huh? Okay, what's the next question I need to be ready for?
All right, this one focuses on safety. How do you ensure that pneumatic systems are operating safely and efficiently? They want to see if you understand best practices.
Makes sense. Safety first, right?
Always.
So how do I tackle this one?
Emphasize your proactive approach to safety. Talk about how you inspect and test systems, your knowledge of safety rules, your ability to spot potential hazards, like you're walking them through your own safety checklist.
Got it. So instead of just saying I follow the rules, I need to show them that I understand why those rules exist.
That's it. And how you apply them in real life.
Okay, so I'm painting a picture of a safety-conscious pro. What's the biggest mistake people make with this question?
Don't act like everything's fine without doing the proper checks. And never cut corners when it comes to safety.
Definitely not. Safety first. Always. What kind of follow-up questions could they ask about safety?
They might ask about a specific safety regulation, or they could give you a hypothetical situation, like a potential safety hazard, and ask how you'd handle it.
So be ready for anything, huh? And how can RoleCatcher help with this question?
RoleCatcher's AI can look at the job description and highlight specific safety certifications or training they want. It can even suggest words or phrases to use in your answer.
So it's helping me align my answer with their company culture. That's smart. Okay, I'm ready for the next challenge. What else do we have?
All right, let's get a bit more technical. Can you explain the function of different types of pneumatic valves? This one's all about your basic knowledge of how these systems work.
Time to show off what I know. So
Yeah.
what's the best way to handle this question?
Be ready to talk about different valve types, like directional control valves, pressure control valves, flow control valves.
Okay, and?
Explain how each type works. What's its role in controlling the airflow?
So it's not enough to just know the names. I got to show them I understand how these things actually work within a system.
Exactly. And what's a common mistake people make with this one?
Let me guess. Getting them all mixed up.
Right. Don't be vague. Make sure you know the differences between them and their specific functions.
Okay. No mixing up a directional control valve with a pressure control valve. Got it. What kind of follow-up questions could I get hit with here?
They might ask you to describe a specific use for a certain valve. Like, how is a directional control valve used to make a cylinder move?
Okay.
Or they could ask you to troubleshoot a problem. Like, what would you do if a valve wasn't working right?
So real-world applications. I need to be ready to show them I can apply my knowledge to solve problems. How can RoleCatcher help me prep for this kind of technical deep dive?
RoleCatcher's got a huge library of technical terms and concepts. You can use it to brush up on your knowledge of different valves, what they do, how they're used. You can even practice explaining these things in your own words. And RoleCatcher's AI will give you feedback, tell you if you're clear and accurate.
It's like having a technical dictionary and a tutor all in one.
Okay, bring on the next question. I'm feeling good.
All right, question number 4. How do you troubleshoot pneumatic systems? This one's all about showing off your problem-solving skills.
Oh, okay. So it's not enough to just say, I'm good at fixing things. What's the key to nailing this one?
Walk them through your thought process. Imagine a system isn't working. What do you do first?
Okay.
How do you figure out where the problem is? What tools do you use? What techniques?
So I need to show them that I have a plan, a system.
Right, you've got a structured approach to troubleshooting.
Not just randomly swapping out parts, hoping for the best. What are some common pitfalls to avoid here?
Don't act like you have one fix for everything.
Right, like a one-size-fits-all solution.
Yeah, every problem is different.
Okay. Makes sense. What kind of follow-up questions might they ask about troubleshooting? They might ask about a specific technique you mentioned, or a particular tool you use. They could even throw a hypothetical problem at you. Like, imagine the conveyor belt stops suddenly. What's your first move? That kind of thing.
So I need to be quick on my feet, show them I can handle surprises. How can RoleCatcher's AI help with this?
Well, RoleCatcher's AI can look at job descriptions. It can figure out common troubleshooting scenarios for that role.
Okay.
It can even do mock interviews with you. That way you can practice answering these tricky questions and get feedback.
It's like a virtual training ground for troubleshooting. I like it. Okay, I'm ready for question number 5. Hit me.
All right, this one's about keeping up with the latest tech. How do you stay up to date with the latest developments in pneumatic technology? They want to see if you're committed to constantly learning.
Oh, so they're looking for someone who's passionate about the field, not just going through the motions. How do I show them that I'm that person?
Talk about professional organizations you're involved with, like the Fluid Power Society or the International Fluid Power Society.
Okay, I've heard of those.
Mention any industry events or conferences you attend. Do you read technical journals? Follow blogs? Anything that shows you're actively learning.
So it's not just about saying, I like to learn new things. It's about proving it. What's the biggest mistake I can make here?
Don't act like you already know it all. Technology keeps changing. You need to show them you're eager to keep learning and growing.
Right. Nobody likes a know-it-all. What kind of follow-up questions could they ask to check my knowledge of what's new in the field?
They might ask about a recent development, like the use of proportional valves, or how sensors are being used for more precise control.
Interesting.
They could even ask for your thoughts on the rise of automation in the industry.
So I need to be up on the latest trends? And RoleCatcher can help with that, right?
Absolutely. RoleCatcher gathers news and articles from all over the industry. You can easily stay informed about the latest tech and trends.
Cool.
You can even customize your feed so you see the stuff that matters most to you.
It's like a personalized news feed for my career. Okay, on to question number 6. What have we got?
All right, this one's about rules and regulations. What steps do you take to ensure that pneumatic systems meet regulatory requirements? They want to make sure you understand compliance.
Makes sense. It's not just about best practices, it's about the law. Right.
Exactly. Safety and reliability are often mandated. So, how do you answer this one? First, show off your knowledge of the rules. Are you familiar with OSHA standards for compressed air systems? What about industry-specific guidelines? Then, walk them through your process. How do you make sure the systems you work on meet those standards?
Okay.
Do you do regular inspections? Keep records of what you find.
So I need to show them that I'm not just aware of the rules, I actually follow them. What's a common trap people fall into with this question?
Don't downplay the importance of the regulations.
Oh, right.
Never say something like, oh, those rules are just a formality.
Definitely not.
You need to show them you take this part of the job seriously.
Right, because ultimately it's about keeping people and equipment safe. What kind of follow-up questions might they ask to see how well I know the compliance stuff?
They might ask about a specific regulation. How do you make sure you're following it?
Okay.
They could also give you a scenario, like, what if a system isn't meeting a specific requirement? How would you handle that?
So they're testing my knowledge and my problem-solving skills, all within the context of these regulations. Can RoleCatcher help me with this too?
Of course. RoleCatcher's AI can scan job descriptions for keywords, things that suggest specific regulations or certifications they need.
Okay.
Then it can point you to resources to learn more about those requirements, so you'll be prepared to discuss them in your interview.
That's really helpful. Okay, we're down to the last question. This is at the grand finale. What do I need to be ready for?
It's a classic. Describe a time when you had to resolve a complex issue with a pneumatic system. This is your chance to shine.
Oh, I know these. Tell me about a time questions. They can be tough. What's the secret to knocking this one out of the park?
Pick a specific example that really shows off your skills and what you bring to the table.
Okay.
Walk them through the problem. What did you do to figure it out? What challenges did you face? How did you solve it? And what was the result?
Right, so I need to set the scene, explain what I did, and then highlight the positive outcome.
Exactly, but don't just give them a technical report.
What do you mean?
Make it personal. What were you feeling? What did you learn? What impact did your solution have?
Oh, okay. So bring in the human element.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe you saved the day by fixing a critical system right before it caused a major problem, or maybe you came up with a creative solution that made things more efficient. Let your passion and your expertise come through.
Okay, so I'm taking a technical challenge and turning it into a story they can connect with. What's a common pitfall to avoid here?
Don't overload them with technical terms.
Right.
Remember, you're telling a story. Keep it clear and easy to understand, even if they don't know all the technical details.
Because ultimately, it's about connecting with the interviewer on a human level. What kind of follow-up questions might they have about my story?
They might ask about the specific tools or techniques you used.
Okay.
They might ask what you learned from the experience or how you'd handle a similar problem differently next time.
So they're looking for someone who can learn and adapt.
Right. Be prepared to go beyond the surface and show that you can grow from your experiences.
Okay, I have one last question for you. We've talked a lot about technical skills, but what about those softer skills? Are those important for a pneumatic systems technician?
Absolutely. Technical skills are important, sure. They'll get you in the door, but those soft skills are what will help you really thrive. Build a great career.
Interesting. So what are we talking about here? What are some of those crucial soft skills, and why do they matter so much in this field?
They're really important. Think about it. You can be amazing with tools, know all the valves inside and out, but if you can't communicate, work with a team, or get creative when problems pop up,
Those technical skills won't get you as far.
Exactly. It's not just what you know. It's how you use it, how you work with others.
So give us some examples. What are those must-have soft skills?
Communication, that's number one.
Okay.
You need to be able to explain complicated technical stuff in a way that anyone can understand,
Makes sense.
whether it's a colleague, your boss, or even a client who doesn't have a technical background.
Right, because they're not all going to be pneumatic experts.
Exactly. You got to be a translator, in a way, between the world of pneumatics and the everyday world.
I like that.
And it's not just talking, it's listening too. You need to understand what the client needs. Be open to feedback from your team. Really engage in conversations.
Active listening, right?
It all matters.
So good communication is like the foundation. What else is crucial for success in this field?
Teamwork. That's another big one.
Okay.
Pneumatic systems can get pretty complex. You're rarely going to be working alone. You'll need to work well with other technicians, engineers, project managers, everyone on the project.
So it's about being a team player.
Exactly. Being dependable, supportive, sharing what you know with others, and being able to take direction.
Yeah.
Give good feedback, handle disagreements professionally. A good team can accomplish way more than anyone working by themselves.
Totally. Okay, communication, teamwork, got it. What other soft skills are essential for a pneumatic systems technician?
Problem solving, that's a must.
Right, because things don't always go according to plan.
Never. In this line of work, you're going to run into unexpected challenges. Systems breaking down deadlines to meet things popping up out of the blue. You got to be able to think critically, analyze the situation, and come up with solutions.
So it's not enough to just follow instructions.
Right. You need to think outside the box.
Find creative ways to get over those hurdles.
Exactly. You'll often need a combo of technical knowledge, analytical skills, and a little bit of cleverness.
Oh, okay.
You might have to rig up a temporary fix, find a workaround, or even invent a whole new way to solve a really tough problem.
I'm seeing a pattern here. All these soft skills kind of work together. You need good communication to be a good team player. You need strong problem-solving skills to handle those curveballs.
You got it. They all come together to make you a more well-rounded pneumatic systems technician. And the best part is you can develop these skills over time.
So how can our listeners start building these essential soft skills?
Just start by paying attention to how you interact with people.
Right.
How do you communicate? Are you clear and concise? Are you a good listener?
Okay.
How do you contribute to the team? Are you dependable and helpful? And how do you handle challenges? Do you stay calm or do you get flustered?
So it's about knowing your strengths and weaknesses.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to ask for feedback from your colleagues or your boss. They can give you some really helpful insights.
And RoleCatcher can be a helpful resource too, right?
Of course. RoleCatcher has tons of resources for developing those soft skills. Articles, guides on communication techniques, teamwork strategies, conflict resolution, problem-solving frameworks.
So it's like having a whole library for personal and professional development.
Exactly.
So it's not just about getting that first job. It's about building a whole career. And for that, you need both the technical expertise and these soft skills.
Right. You want to be the kind of technician who can fix things, but also communicate well, work effectively with others, and solve problems in a creative way.
Those are the people everyone wants on their team.
Exactly.
And remember, listeners, RoleCatcher is there every step of the way. From getting ready for those tough interview questions to building the skills you need to really excel. So you want to be a pneumatic systems technician, you could do this.
Absolutely. We're rooting for you.
So what are we talking about here? What are some of those crucial soft skills, and why do they matter so much in this field?
Well, let's break it down. You know, we've talked about communication.
Right, being able to explain things clearly.
Yeah, and that's huge in this field. You got to be able to talk to all sorts of people about these systems.
Okay.
Like your coworkers, your supervisor, even clients who might not know a thing about pneumatics.
So it's like you're bridging the gap between the technical stuff and the everyday world.
Exactly. And remember, communication is a two-way street. It's not just about explaining things.
Oh, right. You need to be a good listener, too.
Absolutely. Understanding what your client needs, being open to feedback from your team, really being present in those conversations, it all makes a difference.
Active listening, that's what they call it, right?
Yep, that's it. So we've got communication down, but there's another big one, teamwork.
Okay, teamwork. Why is that so important for a pneumatic systems technician?
Well, think about it. These systems can be pretty complex, right?
Right.
You're rarely going to be working completely on your own.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You got to be able to collaborate with others, other technicians, engineers, project managers, everyone who's involved in the project.
So being a team player is key.
Exactly. Being someone your team can rely on, someone who's supportive, sharing your knowledge too, and being able to take direction from others, give constructive feedback, handle any disagreements professionally.
Like all those things that make a team function well.
Exactly. A strong team can achieve so much more than any one person working alone.
Totally. Okay, communication, teamwork. What other soft skills are we missing?
Well, we can't forget about problem solving.
Right, because things don't always go perfectly.
Never, especially in this field. You're going to face all sorts of unexpected challenges, systems malfunctioning, deadlines to meet, unexpected obstacles. You got to be able to think on your feet, analyze the situation, come up with
Oh,
solutions.
it's more than just following a set of instructions.
Right. You need that ability to think outside the box, get creative.
Find workarounds, maybe.
Exactly. It often takes a mix of your technical knowledge, your analytical skills, and just a bit of ingenuity.
Okay.
You might need to improvise a quick fix to get things running again, or come up with a whole new approach to tackle a really tricky problem.
I'm seeing a pattern here. All these soft skills seem to go hand in hand. You need good communication to be a good team player, and you need strong problem-solving skills to overcome those unexpected challenges that pop up.
You got it. They all work together to make you a more well-rounded pneumatic systems technician, someone who can really excel in this role. And the best part is, these skills can be developed and strengthened over time.
So how can our listeners start building these essential soft skills? Any tips?
Just start by paying attention to how you interact with people. How do you communicate? Are you being clear and concise? Are you a good listener?
Okay, that's good advice.
How do you contribute when you're working on a team project? Are you reliable, supportive? And how do you approach those challenges? Do you stay calm and focused, or do you tend to get flustered easily?
It's about being self-aware, right?
Exactly. Know your strengths and your areas where you could improve, and don't be shy about asking for feedback. From your colleagues, from a mentor, even from your supervisor.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They can give you some really valuable perspectives.
And don't forget RoleCatcher can help here, too.
Absolutely. RoleCatcher has a whole bunch of resources for developing those soft skills.
Mhm.
Articles, guides on things like communication techniques, teamwork strategies, conflict resolution, problem-solving frameworks. It's like having a personal development toolkit right at your fingertips.
So it's not just about getting that first job. It's about building a fulfilling and successful career in this field.
Exactly. And that takes both. Those technical skills and those all-important soft skills.
It's about being a skilled technician who can not only fix things, but also communicate effectively, work well with others, and think creatively to solve problems.
Right. That's what makes you a valuable asset to any team.
And that's what makes you stand out from the crowd. Well, that wraps up our deep dive into the world of pneumatic systems technicians.
Yep, that's all for today.
We hope you found this episode informative and empowering. Remember, the future is bright for those with the skills and the drive to succeed. So keep learning, keep growing, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.